Hello everyone, this is Fariba from watchknitting.com. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with the fourth video in my Brioche Knitting Series. And this time we are taking it up a notch with two-color brioche in the round. After lots of trial and error, I've worked out the best approach for choosing the right needle to the cast-on method to make this magical reversible pattern as simple as possible. So give this video a thumb up and save it to your waitlist for later. Let's stitch on magic together. For two-color brioche in the round, you will need two different colored yarns in the same weight. I'm using worsted weight yarn in these two colors. Unlike brioche worked flat, where one color tends to be more dominant, brioche in the round alternates evenly. Because of this, there is no need to assign a dominant color. However, to make things easier to follow, I still label them. So the brighter color will be the main color and the other one will be the contrast color. We will also need a circular needle, and I recommend going one size smaller than the suggested needle size for your yarn to create a more defined fabric. For example, I'm using 3.5mm circular needle instead of the 4.5mm recommended for worsted weight yarn, and that's a 16-inch cable. There are two ways to knit two-color brioche. One method starts with a single color cast on and transition into alternating colors. I've covered this technique in an older circular knitting tutorial. The other method, called the Symmetrical two-color brioche cast on, uses both color alternately from the start, and that's what I'll be demonstrating in this video. To achieve a symmetrical cast on, we will need an extra pair of needles. These could be circular needles, double-pointed needles, or straight needles. We will alternate picking up stitches from each needle after casting on to ensure a symmetric result. For this, I'll be using these 3.5mm straight needles. You also need a stitch marker. If you don't have one, no worries. You can easily make one by tying a small piece of yarn into a loop and using that as a stitch marker. Now let's talk about the number of stitches you need to cast on. If you have watched my other brioche tutorials, you know I usually recommend casting on a lower number of stitches for brioche. I used to follow a formula to decrease the stitch count to perfectly match the pattern. But after a lot of trial and error, I found that formula doesn't apply to symmetrical two-color brioche in the round. The reason is that in symmetrical two-color brioche, the stitch alternates right from the cast on, which creates a very tight first row. So instead of changing the stitch count, I recommend adopting a lower gauge. Keep in mind that your usual tension will also affect the stretchiness of the pattern. For example, for a medium adult hat using worsted weight yarn and 3.5mm needles, the recommended cast on is 96 stitches, but for my demo, I'll go with 88 stitches, which is more appropriate for a smaller hat size. The one you see here, which I worked on earlier, is based on 96 stitches, and I feel it's still looser than a typical medium size hat. However, the pattern looks more defined and keeps very warm since it's thicker. I prepared a gauge for hat sizing in my written version, which you can find in the description below. Now for my demonstration, I'll split 88 evenly between the two colors. So I'll cast on 44 stitches with each color, giving me an even number of stitches. Additionally, I'll add one extra stitch to my main color. This extra stitch will be knit together in the setup round when joining the edge, which will give us a seamless edge finish. To ensure a stretchy edge for the round, I'll use a double needle cast on. However, to avoid a loose beginning and end where the rounds join, I'll only use one needle at the start and end of the cast on. Now I cast on 2 stitches and then I'll add my main needle to create larger loops for the rest of the cast on. This ensures that the stitches have enough flexibility and room to accommodate the following rounds. As I continue, I make sure to keep the cast on as loose as possible to prevent the edge from becoming too tight. Now I will remove the circular needle and switch to the single needle to cast on 2 more stitches, bringing the total to 44. Then tie the end. Next, I cast on 44 stitches with the main color using the same technique for the beginning and the end. And also I will add 1 extra stitch to the cast on. Now position both needles tip to the right and beginning with the main color, start picking up stitches using the circular needle, alternating between the 2 colors. This method will blend both colors symmetrically, creating a structured and visually balanced foundation for your project. The beginning and end should be in the main color due to the extra stitch that was added. For 2-color brioche in the round knitting, one setup row is worked with the main color, then we alternate between 2 colors every row in a 2-row repeat. Unlike 1-color brioche, since we didn't reduce the cast on stitch count, we should have enough stitches to join the round in the setup round. The setup round starts with the main color. Before joining, make sure your stitches are not twisted and that the working yarn is on your right needle. Transfer the extra stitch to the left needle. Place a stitch marker on the right needle and next knit the next 2 stitches together. Now the setup round repeat begins with knit 1, but since we joined the edge with knit 2 together, the next step is yarn over and slip 1. This yarn over and slip 1 together is called SL1 yaw, slip 1 yarn over. These paired stitches will be worked together in the following rounds, either by purling them together or knitting them together. As you can see, I'm slipping the stitch and making the yarn over in one motion. I also place my finger on top of the stitch. This technique helps maintain even tension. Pro tip to remember this pattern: in the setup round, brioche stitch pairs SL1 yaw with a knit stitch. In later rounds, it pairs with knit together or purl together. Keep in mind that we always work by maneuvering 2 stitches at a time and that the order of these stitches depend on the row or round you are on. I'll share more tips later to help you easily track your next move. But for now, remember that SL1 yaw is always worked with a single stitch and in the opposite color, while the knit or knitted together or purled together always worked in the same color. Now I'll repeat these steps until the end of the round, but I'll fast forward to save time. We will finish the setup round with a SL1 yaw. Be sure to leave the yarn at the back as it's part of the SL1 yarn over. I transfer the stitch marker to the right needle. Now in round 1, we're going to use the contrast color. The both working yarns will stay at the back. Here is another tip. The stitches before and after the marker are always treated the same way. Since we finished the setup round with SL1 Yo, we will also start round 1 with SL1 Yo in the contrast color. Then we will do yarn over and slip 1, and that's the opposite color. Next we come to the paired stitches. We are going to purl them together, which is called brioche purl or BRP, and this round is referred to as the purl round. Another key to remembering the pattern more easily is this: whenever you slip a knit stitch, the next step will always be purled together. As you can see, the stitch I slipped after the marker was a knit stitch, which means this round is a purl round. Now I will repeat SL1 Yo BRP across round 1, but I will fast forward. Now we finish round 1 with purl together or BRP, then transfer the stitch marker. Now in round 2, as mentioned before, we need to offset this last stitch here that was purled together. So switch to the main color, start with knit together followed by SL1 Yo. The knit together is called brioche knit or BRK, and this round is referred to as the knit round. Again here, if the stitch that was slipped after the marker is a purl stitch, then this round is a knit round. To make this even easier to memorize, you can assign each round to a specific color. As you can see in my demonstration, the contrast color will always work the purl round, while the main color will work the knit round. We will repeat these 2 rounds over and over throughout the project. Now I will switch to another sample that I worked on a bit more. I left this knitting in the middle close to the connection line to show you the transition. I don't use a stitch marker, I just follow the tips I've shared. Looking closely at my right needle, I have a single purl stitch. As mentioned before, the single stitch needs to be a SL1 Yo with the opposite color. Then because it's a purl stitch, the next step is knit 2 together. Next, I have another single purl stitch, so I will do a SL1 Yo again. After that, I have a single knit stitch, which is not a paired stitch. This signals that I'm at the switching point to the other color. I pick up my contrast color and the stitches before and after the marker, repeat the same steps with the new color. That means I'm going to do another SL1 Yo, this time with the contrast color, and since it's a knit stitch being slipped, I will follow it with purl together. And that's the entire tutorial summarized in this section. If you look at the connection line here, you will see how neat this transition is. The technique I use for stretchy start without leaving any gaps at the joining point worked really well. I put a lot of effort into making this tutorial as clear as easy to follow as possible, and I hope you have enjoyed learning with me. If anything unclear, feel free to ask in the comments below. Stay tuned for my next 2 color brioche tutorial where I explore increasing and decreasing for 2 color brioche. Have a wonderful day and happy knitting time.